the host of the Stop the Killing podcast. We welcome Kate Schweit. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks. It's great to be here.
So I'm a Kate Schweit groupie now.
Yeah, obviously you did our podcast. It was awesome.
Yeah,
that's right. We were podcast buds.
That's right.
And was it like 2 days later? Or no, it was the same day.
It was like
Fortunately
the same
or
day.
unfortunately, there was a shooting.
In Wisconsin.
And we saw you on, was it CNN? Or
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Like
you were on CNN like 5 times in a row during that one. I mean, that was the Wisconsin shooting.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
And I think when I'm on, I take calls from any news agency that asks for help.
Yeah.
Because I want to share. I mean, your audience might not know, but in my real life, I'm a mass killing expert.
Yeah.
I'm a shooting expert. I started and ran the FBI's active shooter program before I retired, and so that is really the part that I want to make sure that I can help with. And I think so much of it is people want explanations and they don't want hysteria, they want real information. And I feel like I can bring that to the table. So if somebody calls me, I get a call. You know, it's funny, after the Wisconsin one, I got calls from Canada.
Really?
I got calls from Canada and the UK because they don't understand what we have going on here.
Right.
And so I call and try to explain, well, here's what it's like in the States, here's what we know. And also people are afraid to send their kids to school, right? People are afraid to go to work. So I do a lot of conversations with news guys to explain, here's what law enforcement's doing. And
it's interesting that you say that, because I do feel like there's like a public safety service that you provide by kind of just putting the facts out there and giving people that really great information. And I think that your approach is different than anybody else's that we watch on that.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I feel like that's the important thing to do. The important thing for me to do is to provide comfort and confidence in the information that you're getting, and know that what you're hearing on television from me is going to be not a spin. It's not going to be a, hey, here's my opinion of things.
Right.
I'm not politics. I'm not opinions. Here's the facts as we know them. Here's what we don't know so far. You know, so because people, you know, when something bad happens, everybody's like, I want to know more, but I want to know why, but I want to know his motivation. Well, I can tell you a lot about that because I've researched a lot of it. We worked a lot of it. I've been out at those shootings. So
amazing. Let's talk about this new book, and this is so interesting.
This is my fun book.
This is your fun book. This is your fun book.
Women Who Talk to the Dead, the fun book.
The true story of 200 forgotten murder victims and the relentless pursuit of justice by an FBI agent and a Detroit police detective. Now tell us a little bit about this. There's a lot to talk about, but tell us a little bit about this book and the process and what's going on.
Well, and the reason I call this my fun book is now everybody knows I do murders most of the time. That's what I do, shootings and murders. So for this is really an incredible story of social justice.
Okay.
It may seem like it's just a story about, initially about, oh, we're gonna solve 200 cold case murders, but to me, this is a story about police tenacity. They said, we find all these cases, cold case murders, and the victims were unidentified when they were buried. So the cases were never really given maybe the attention that they needed. Maybe that was because of the socioeconomic class that the person came from. Maybe it was a body picked up on the street that was frozen, and so they're buried in these, you know, along the fence lines,
and
you know, in these random places. In cemeteries in the Detroit area.
Across 2 cemeteries
in Wayne County.
Over 200.
200 paupers' graves.
Unknown paupers' graves. That's amazing.
Wow.
And all 200 have been exhumed?
So what happened is, maybe I've been working this story for like 6 years, and maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, Detroit detective, now Master Sergeant Shannon Jones, came to FBI agent Leslie Larson, who's a friend of mine. That's Shannon on the left and Leslie on the right. And she came to Leslie and said, and Leslie is just like that. She's always smiling. She's always happy. And Shannon is always kind of sullen. So they're kind of a great match. And Shannon said, hey, I just think we should dig up these 200 people. And Shannon was like, what? You know, what are you talking about? And she said, I have all these cold case murders. Nobody's solving them. Nobody's doing anything. I work the missing person cases. Some of my missing people are in those cold case files I'm finding. And I can't tell people where their missing loved one is because they might be buried.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Yeah,
And this is over
intense.
70 years?
70 years of cold case murders with unidentified victims. And Shannon talks Leslie into doing this. And then I went to that's the part that I think for me, is fascinating, and I wanted to kind of lift the story up in the book, is these are right down the road, my hometown Detroit, these detectives and all these volunteers and all these people who worked for 5 years to dig up these bodies, forensic anthropologists, all these people volunteered their time in addition to it so that this could be done. Because a lot of times people say, well, who paid for this? One exhumation might cost $5,000 or $10,000. So they said, if we dig up 200 people, it's not going to cost that. We're going to do it, and we're going to solve these. We're going to reconnect these family members first. That's the most important thing. And then we're going to try if we can solve them.
And this is crazy work out in the field. I mean, you see the photos out at the cemetery. I mean,
it was crazy to be out there.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing. It's an amazing. We hear about exhumations maybe to identify a defendant who it might be committed a crime, but you never hear about exhumations to identify victims so that we can solve their murders. And it's not even just solving their murders. They're doing this like these other crazy things. They're like knocking on doors saying, hi, do you know where your dad is? Oh yeah, he left when my mom was pregnant with me. This is true. This is one of the true stories. He left when my mom was pregnant. And then they had to say, well, actually, he was murdered in Detroit. And he was the 11th victim of a serial murderer.
What's that like when you notify people? I mean, is it just like...
So that changes that person's complete narrative. Like, instead of feeling like they were abandoned by a father while her mother was pregnant, he was stolen from them.
Right. And these people have no idea.
Everything.
They have no idea.
What happened.
Because the person just disappears. I mean, if you have somebody who's missing from your family, how do you find them? Right now, we have, since the 80s, genealogy through DNA, genetic genealogy, which is even more sophisticated, which I talk about in the book, and we're able to reconnect, but it changes their entire lives. And so this 200 people, right? I couldn't write 200 stories because they're still identifying the people. This is an ongoing effort by people who are saying, I'm not going to retire till I get through this.
So do you anticipate this being a series then?
Well, I think that there has to be a little bit more.
You can't leave me hanging like that.
Tell us why the title.
Women Who Talk to the Dead is because when I first started to interview people, I said, Leslie is a friend of mine, and she told me about this, and I said, I have to write about that. I have to elevate the story. I have to let people know that there's still hope. That there's still social justice for people who were wronged in society because of circumstances or financial or economic or racial or whatever. We're still going to provide justice. These law enforcement officers are doing that. And so I said, and every time I talk to somebody, I'd say, who else should I talk to? And they would give me the name of another woman. So it turns out that there's leading this effort today, a female FBI agent, a female Detroit Master Sergeant, 5 female forensic anthropologists from the Body Farm, which is in Tennessee, and teaches people to dig up dead bodies.
Really?
Yeah, and evidence. Michigan has the Frost Center in northern Michigan, and it's the only place in North America where you can train to dig up a body that's frozen.
Really?
Wow.
Amazing.
And that's the thing is Leslie teaches at these places now because she's so brilliant, and she's always wanted to dig people up. That's part of her story in the book, is why she wants to dig people up. And every person, the prosecutor, the FBI agent, every person, the Michigan State Police officer who I first dealt with, inspector who I first dealt with, female. They were all female. I go, why is this all female? So I talked to the forensic anthropologists about it, and I included that in the book too. Why is it just women that, and it isn't that there weren't men working on it, but the women are just so tenacious, and they're just not letting it go. They're not letting it go.
Awesome.
Is this a book? Can I read this book, or is it going to be over my head?
Nope, you can read it. I wrote it. I am a simple person.
Perfect. Oh, you like that, Brandon? You made Brandon.
I'm a simple person, and I wanted to write something that tells people a little bit about DNA, tells people a little bit about who is a forensic anthropologist and what do they do, and how do they exhume a body. So I wanted to describe what it's like to be out there at the. I was out there several summers in a row, hanging out while they're. Excavators are taking the grass up and they're digging up, and what does it take to, so you saw some of those photos, pulling a casket out 10 feet underground.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And so, and also I think the other part of it is the emotion involved in it.
Sure.
Right.
You know, this is a
look
big
at this.
deal to
And-
these people. That's like you think.
And I assume they didn't use the finest caskets for the murder victims.
No, these are all just pine boxes,
Right.
or in one cemetery they're just buried in bags.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that ahead of time, or just not find out until
I
you
think
got there?
I think it would be fair to say that every time Leslie cracks the ground, there's a mystery underneath.
Okay, fair. Right.
So they're for the, I mean, that's part of it. When they started, you know, the first the first week they went out, which was May many years ago, they found the cemetery was underwater where
Oh my
they needed
God.
to dig.
Oh, geez. So
They were out there for a whole week and they got one of the 18 bodies they were looking for.
Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
you can imagine you schedule people, you spend money.
Yeah.
Right.
So I wanted to bring that anguish for these people.
Yeah.
That's why I say tenacious. They had so many roadblocks and they found a way to dig up 200 bodies. And no one, this
amazing.
is the largest exhumation the FBI's ever
Wow.
done, ever,
Wow.
of murder victims.
Is this available right now?
It is available. It's available on ebook. Thank you for asking. It's on an ebook, audiobook, and of course it's in paperback on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, in any place you get it. If you have a library, you can get it from the library. If you have a little bookstore near you, ask them to order it. They can order
Yeah.
it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you read the audio book?
I
Is it
do
you?
not read the audio
Oh,
because
okay.
because the audio does have the characters in it
Sure.
somehow.
Oh, nice.
And I was afraid to try that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, cool.
What do you have coming up next?
I'm going to do I'm shifting to the guns while we solve some
Okay.
murders. I'm shifting back to a book for parents.
Okay.
A book for
wonderful.
parents so that they understand kind of the world that we're living in right now when it comes to safety for their kids.
That's cool.
And just giving them information, right?
You've been thinking about that for a while.
I
Yeah.
have
since
been.
we
I'm
broached
like
that subject.
halfway through it. I know
Awesome.
probably last time I promised you I'd have it, but then this one came to fruition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is amazing, and I can't wait to dive into this. This is such an interesting story.
Will you keep us updated?
I will. I'll come back and let you know when I hear a few more stories, or maybe I can get Leslie and Shannon to come.
That
in,
would be awesome.
which
yeah,
would be
let's
great.
do that.
And I will say that you know, when I thought about where should I cap this book and how can I do it, I didn't really know for sure if this, you know, how and when I would get this done. And I'm so glad that I was able to do it because it's an important story
It
to
is.
tell.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome.
thank you so much.
Thanks so much for being with
Thank
us.
you. Thank you.
Author, attorney, and FBI executive, Katherine Schweit here on The Morning Show. We have more coming up right after this quick break.